Pathetic twin.
I didn't...
Hey, don't get me wrong. You've handled the ethical considerations of this scenario as best you could. Families and couples stay together. Most personalities aren't far off from what's underneath. People got better jobs. Better haircuts for sure.
You don't think it's wrong?
Are you kidding? I'm impressed.
Welcome everyone to What the Fiction and to our live stream deep dive of WandaVision, the Halloween Spooktacular. An all new Halloween Spooktacular special. Yes. I am Marie Claire Gould, your host, and with me is
Kyle Gould, your regular guest, co-host
of this. Yes. And thank you to everyone who is coming out regularly. We love to see you in the chat, even if it's your first time and you've been normally listening to the podcast. We have a lot of fun doing this stuff, and we had a lot of fun figuring out what we were going to dress up as this episode, because Wanda herself only really dresses in this costume here, and we realized, because we use a green screen, I think you guys can tell, that Vision was not going to be a good choice.
Nope, classic Vision, not possible. Also, my hair is way too long now to do the standy up bits.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it all
you
just
tried.
collapsed. But
it's wind blown, which is the look, right?
Like that. I got on the one side pretty good, but
yeah, that's the look. Yeah. So, love you guys so much. I threw this stuff together like
last night.
Yeah. It's awesome, and like we already had the cape. This is something I made for my daughter to play to do Little Red Riding Hood one Halloween, and we've just hung on to it. And yeah, I made this last night, so. This is fun. I've really enjoyed doing the costuming bits and like scavenging my closet to see what I can do, and then figuring out the hairstyles, especially. Like, there's been a lot of really fun challenges with this show, and so we love that you guys appreciate it. I've had so many compliments about the costuming and going overboard with the drinks.
Yeah, three more shows left. I don't know what we're going to do for costumes, but
I mean, it gets easier for me. I get to wear like sweats and do my hair up in like ponytails and stuff like that. Stressed out mom style, which I have down to a T already.
I have no idea what I'm going to do, but it's going to be awesome. So let's start everything off as we always do with a drink.
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So today we have another two beverages.
Oh my god.
And one of them you cannot see at all.
It's like invisible.
Because it's invisible.
It's like,
that's so cool.
It's magical.
So this one right here that I'm giving to you is called a Yo Magic.
Yo Magic.
Yo Magic. It is 2 ounces of amaretto, 2 ounces of Southern Comfort, and 2 ounces of lime cordial, and that makes a Yo Magic.
Yo Magic.
You finish that, and I will have all Yo Magic.
You're gonna take all my magic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's it right here. And then the one you cannot see because it's green. It's green, is a True Vision, which is 2 ounces of melon liqueur, 2 ounces of pineapple vodka, and ginger ale to top it all off. I'm really excited about this one.
It's like you're drinking nothingness, like Vision currently.
Whoa, sweet, sweet air. Would you like to try my True Vision?
Yes, I would. Yeah.
Mm.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's very melony.
It's very melony, yeah.
I didn't get to try yours.
Oh, sorry.
I
can grab it for you.
No,
sorry.
No, absolutely. Here we go.
Precariously placed on a invisible box.
Oh my god, that's so much better.
Is it?
Yeah.
I like yours better. You want to switch?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you can get drunk on Yo Magic. While I reveal to everyone on screen the movie titles behind my body.
It's kind of magical, actually.
It's true magic.
That's actually the Yo Magic, because it's able to, like, go through
I've perfectly replicated the green screen.
Yeah,
color.
you have. Good job.
I love it. Anyway, they're both delightful, and you can both get really, really drunk on these and not really think about it.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm gonna be playing with this cape all freaking.
I think so. It'll be great.
Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so just a reminder, we still have 3 episodes left after this episode, so like and subscribe to make sure that you are caught up. And I would like to announce that somewhere in the last week, Kyle has convinced me to do Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Because we are having a lot of fun with this. It might not be as intense because there isn't maybe as much thematic romance. Well, just thematically changing per episode. Psychological themes that we need to plug into and understand. Different weaving story threads.
I think there might be. I think it'll be much more MCU pieced together. We'll see a bigger part of the world because this is a slice of life show that we get to winnow out. We're gonna get bigger moments, bigger threads. So I'm really excited to step into that with you.
I may not do as big a PowerPoint, but who knows? I always say that, and then I'm like, what am I doing?
I know, right?
No. Look at me, I'm a mess. All right.
It's fine. You were
there
good.
You go.
You're cloaky.
I have a cape.
Yeah. I hope you get to wear this again for Loki. I hope that Scarlet Witch is in an episode.
It just shows up, and then I can wear it again.
Like Pietro
I'm gonna
does.
keep it because I mean I threw this together like in an hour. It was crazy. We may not dress up for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We might just wear like MCU shirts or something fun. We don't know. It kind of depends on what the show is, and we're not 100% sure yet. So
exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. I did want to point out a couple of cool things before we got into our thoughts and feelings, which was there was a Forbes article that just came out that pointed out that WandaVision is the highest watched show right now, which congratulations. My hands are full, your hands are full. We can't clap, but clap for them. That's amazing because we are loving this show so much. But they really do point to with the Parrot Analytics group that is primarily responsible for capturing streaming audience and viewing, that week-to-week engagement really helps make a difference for these shows. And I think that's entirely due to fandom conversations that end up happening week to week, like the water cooler talk, but on Twitter. People are talking about this show week to week, and it's like, what are they going to do next? Oh my gosh, who's going to be the person that's going to show up? And they're talking about all of these different aspects, and they're really interesting stuff. And it's something that the binge dropped shows on Netflix don't get. They point to that there's a very large spike, but then it drops off shortly after a week or so. So it takes a lot more to keep a show that is released all at once and in people's minds. So, I mean, claps out to Queen's Gambit, who did that, and a few other shows like Bridgerton. But if they want to kind of have the steady staying power, and also it ties into their streaming model, because if you want to watch the whole show as it's coming out, you have to have a subscription for 3 months. And you can't just drop your subscription right after it binges, right? So, I don't know. It's a really interesting kind of market conversation that's happening between Disney Plus and Netflix, I would say. And we're just going to be paying attention to it because I find it very interesting.
What's really important to me is that in this show, there isn't viewer drift. And in some other TV shows, you'll get viewer drift.
Yeah.
Like, you'll lose viewers over time instead of gaining them.
Because they said that it started to peak and take over in February.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple of weeks, and it gained viewers over that time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
that
good
weekly
job.
model really helps. One of the people I was watching on Twitter related this to Lost and the element of the unknown constantly interjecting little tiny things into each scene that you can then pause, have a think about, and then when you go to the water cooler the next day, you mention that thing that you noticed and maybe your friend didn't, so they go back to watch the episode for it.
Yeah.
So you're getting that repeat watch because there's things you don't catch the first time that seem to have some sort of relevancy to the whole arc are they teasing us? Are they telling us something? And I want to get into that with some of the Easter eggs that they hid in this episode, while talking about the overarching themes and the main thing that's happening in this episode.
There's
so I'm
so
really excited.
much going on in this show.
Such a good episode.
Yeah, it was so good. Okay, so overall thoughts, because I have like a rant that's awesome. So.
Cool. Not my favorite episode.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be. I felt like they could have done more between Vision and Wanda with Vision's lie, because it was really downplayed, and I hope that it gets pulled out into the next episode. But he literally lied to her said he was on patrol, and then it got winnowed out by everything else that happens in the episode.
I think they'll bring it back. She's gonna remember, and
well, so many other things were of greater import than his lie.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really telling, because I don't recall a time at all that he has lied to her other than in Age of Ultron. So this was telling about the relationship between Wanda and Vision, and I felt Vision kind of got relegated this episode.
Yeah.
Then his path was literally just a straight line at that point.
Yeah. Well, you're tying directly into what I wanted to talk about, which is that this episode is an emotional roller coaster because of that tension and that conflict between Wanda, and we're aware of it as the audience. But Wanda slowly discovers how much Vision knows, and so, like, the lie is the truth for the situation between them. And this ties into one of my favorite femme gays, sort of, it's not even a trope, it's a structural thing, so that both characters can emotionally figure out where they are, which is, it's a separation between the lovers, and it happens in almost every femme gaze type show that I have ever seen, especially those that happen from an Asian drama perspective. They heavily rely on this concept that the two need to be separated so that they can truthfully understand where they are with relation to the other person. And it happens 2/3 to 3/4 the way through the show, and that's exactly on time for this show, being episode 6 of 9. And so I was surprised to see it in this show, and it happened. And so...
But I mean, it was going to happen because they brought in the brother.
No, I know. But I was surprised starting the show. I wasn't expecting to see a separation because it's more like...
them together.
And MCU focused too, and to see it happen is like they know femme gaze storytelling really well, and that to me is like really good. So, yeah. I
think that was great, but you needed to separate Vision in order to establish that Wanda Pietro relationship, and then also you had to give time and credence to the kids.
Yeah, so. and they did all of that with the same thing, which is that they discover exactly where they stand with each other, which is what separations do. They grow in themselves and their own understanding of who they are, and then come back together and resolve all of that conflict that separated them in the first place. And yeah, it's one episode of separation, but still in 9 episodes, that's significant.
It'll be extremely significant because it belies the trust that the two have between each other. Like, we started the entire journey with them trusting implicitly each other. And now Vision has lied and he doesn't trust Wanda and her actions.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to fix the people in the city, and he wants to know what's going on outside of Westview, that this is happening at all. And then we also have Wanda now no longer really able to trust Vision because he doesn't trust her.
Yeah. But, you know, she was kind of like, don't worry about this, I have handled this. But in all storytelling with, like, a relationship at the center, it's about the trust between the relationship carriers, right? So sharing truthfully your pains and your fears and everything. And she hasn't done that with Vision. She hasn't even told him the entire truth, and she was surprised to hear that he has no memories before Westview. They really need to talk. And that's like, these stupid kids, and you just like want to knock their heads together so that they actually talk.
It seems though that every time somebody wants to get to the point where Wanda starts to talk about how she's feeling and where she is, it's somebody who is actually dead, and she gets a shock to the system to kick her back into the fantasy.
Yeah.
Both Vision and Pietro being dead has shocked her back into the fantasy that she is experiencing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I don't think she's allowed to talk about it.
But, like, there's something preventing her from doing that, and it's, again, that malevolent thing that we haven't found an answer for just yet. Mm-hmm. Your face wholly disappears when you drink.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
Like goodbye, everyone. Well, it kind of shows up now.
No, you got to be half on, half off.
There, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so I love it. It's perfect. It does exactly what it needs to do. I do understand, like, my good friend Ty Black mentioned on Twitter, like, she holds herself back from getting too invested in this show because there's a fear that it's going to go the way that everyone fears it's going to go, right? Even my kids expressed it. They were watching the show because my daughter hadn't had a chance to watch it yet. My son rewatched it, etc. And so they watched it together, and Robin's like, I'm just so scared they're going to kill Vision. And my son said, don't worry. The show is called WandaVision. And so, like, I understand both of those things. Like, I fear they're going to kill Vision, too, because that's kind of what they do.
In the last 2 years alone, we've lost a lot of majority characters that haven't gotten a happy ending.
Yeah.
And that's saying some terrible things about how they want us to view the world around us and how Hollywood
grim.
wants to see things. When you lose Tony Stark and you lose Captain America and you lose Ben Solo, like, those are our biggest blockbuster movies, and you're killing off all our main characters who do not get a happy ever after.
I mean, Steve kind of got what he wanted, but we didn't get to
experience it, and he didn't get to go off into the sunset, and we would picture his happy ever after.
Yeah.
Instead, he had his happy ever after, and then we just get a old man Steve.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like he got
that was weird.
I would have been happier if we just saw him, take the time device off and walk up to the door with her. I would have been fine with that being left as it was. Instead, we got old man Steve, and that kind of made me even sadder. So, but back to this.
Yeah. No. So I think that's like a super interesting sociological phenomenon that's happening with our reflection and how we are consuming the media that we are consuming. And it's really important that we have these conversations. And like I think it's the red herring / misdirect of the show that Wanda is in control to some extent.
You mean the fish or treat?
The fish or treat?
Yeah, you said it's a red herring, but I think it's actually more like a fish or treat.
Oh, that's to my slides later on.
I know. I'm jumping the gun there, but...
But I just think, like, I have hope, just like my son. My son is endlessly hopeful, so I also have hope. But I fear, just like my daughter, and I totally empathize with anyone who's also fearing, because I'm also fearing what's gonna happen. So
absolutely.
Let's get into the slideshow, because
Let's start WandaVision. Oh, I wish I'd written the lyrics to this one down.
Oh my gosh.
I was even talking to you about it today.
I know. You were like, and who's going to show up to play? Like, that was such a good line.
Yeah, because it literally is hinting at what's to come. Because it's telling us that somebody is coming. Someone is going to show up.
Yeah.
And it's going to change everything. And I think that what they're really saying is it's Pietro. Like,
yeah.
But then again, Paul Bettany also said, I'm really excited to get to work with this person you're going to see in a later episode. And everybody's like,
yeah, like, and Elizabeth Olsen said it was on the level of Luke Skywalker. So I'm like, who is it? I hope it's Magneto of some sort. Either one, Michael Fassbender or
both.
Ian McKellen. They just both show up. Like, they like morph their faces together. Yeah, that would be like Luke Skywalker.
That would be. Yeah. Yeah, if Gandalf Magneto shows
up. I'm so funny. Yes. Oh my god, that would be.
Yes.
It's like they morph Ian McKellen's face onto Michael Fassbender.
That'd be awesome. Midsommar Magneto and Gandalf Magneto meet again.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, so I loved this intro so much because I watched Malcolm in the Middle as a kid.
Yeah, I did.
And yeah, like although it wasn't really as a kid because it came out in like 2000, but it was set in the 90s, and so that's a really important thing about this. This isn't really like, hey, what happened in the 90s? It is our television view of the 90s. And so, yeah, it was totally Malcolm in the Middle.
It was absolutely... I looked at other 90s sitcoms to see if they pulled anything out from it, and they really didn't. Like, the end bit with in front of the house, in the foyer in front of the front door is driven directly from Malcolm in the Middle, if you look at them shot to shot. And except for the stairs, because Malcolm in the Middle is like a bungalow.
Yeah.
They do not have
they
a
didn't have
second
stairs,
level.
but they kept that stairs.
But the stairs are so important in WandaVision, and so many other sitcoms have them. It's actually an interesting thing to think about, the fact that a modern sitcom does not have a second level story like in Malcolm in the Middle. And they're just a low income family in one little bungalow, and it's a really crowded space. Even Roseanne has a second floor.
Yeah, even Roseanne does, yeah.
But I watched a whole bunch of 80s, 90s sitcom intros to see if they pulled anything else from it, and they really didn't.
Yeah.
But so many of them are so bad. Like, Home Improvement is the worst.
Oh, yeah, it's a terrible intro.
And that's it. They do that like 3 times, and then that's it. And he goes... Anyway, but Malcolm in the Middle has a great intro and a great theme song.
Life is unfair.
Yes. But I like it. Just the intro itself fits the tune of what they're putting here too, right? You're not the boss of me now, and the kids, no one's the boss of them. Oh, no one can control them.
Did I get girl put the lyrics in the
chat?
Oh,
nice. Yes. I mean, those lyrics are amazing. Yeah, and so there we go. I did not look at Scrubs, How Rude, because it wasn't a family sitcom, which is what all of these are. So, wow.
So much like Malcolm in the Middle, it focuses on one child, although occasionally will go to the other children, and it focuses on Billy, who is a parallel to Malcolm, being Malcolm himself was the nerdy kid who was in the special AP classes and sort of saw things differently. And what we get is like context from Billy's perspective, which is like mom and dad aren't doing well. Uncle P is like really weird but cool. It's Halloween. Everything's been kind of weird and stressful. So we get all this context from Billy, which is really, really, really amazing.
I thought that they'd split the time really well between the two, Billy and Tommy.
I have a slide later for Tommy's.
I just love how they address the camera. Like, we're getting so much more of that, which happened a lot in Malcolm in the Middle as well.
Yeah, which I thought it kind of like they really pulled out Modern Family with that like
I think we'll get documentary. That down the road.
We will probably get Modern Family because it's like the biggest sitcom of all times, I think.
Is it really?
Family sitcom. It's
wow.
It
is the most awarded sitcom out there at this point. And it went for, 10 or 11 seasons? And at the beginning of the entire pandemic, before the pandemic, we started watching it as a family.
Yeah.
And it initially said, like, let's watch an episode and we'll talk about it. So that's what we did, but then we watched episode after episode after episode, and we finally finished the whole thing with the kids, and they absolutely love it. Yeah, Robin's like, my favorite is Cam, and I'm like, I just don't understand you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And people pointing out that Wiccan's costume and the blue headband and how they look very much like their future selves.
It's a cape, not a poncho, but yeah.
Yeah, he wrapped it around kind of like a poncho though. Like he's got the thing in front, but yeah, we're loving Wiccan and Speed references in this, and it's something like some fan sites and YouTube channels were complaining about, that like we didn't see enough of their characters from the future comics yet in the last episode, and I'm like, they were born last.
They were babies last episode.
And they were babies, and then like 5-year-olds, and then 10-year-olds. Like, what do you want from this show?
They really made up for that in this episode.
This episode, they really
Those two
did.
got a lot of play. You got to feel for their dynamic with each other. This one's the bad boy. This one's the smart one. This one's impetuous. This one thinks things through.
I love the brothers and the parallel to Malcolm in the Middle, Malcolm and Reese's relationship, especially because, like, he's kind of like the cool older brother, and they're very close in age. And he's like, I'm the cool twin. What does that make me? A Dorkosaurus. It's like, that's not a real dinosaur. I laughed genuinely so hard at the comedic timing of these little child actors, and I wrote down their names because we should really just like watch out for them. So Billy is played by Julian Hillard, and Tommy is played by Jet Klein. And Jet, what a Tommy name.
Yeah.
Wow. They're perfect.
He's a real Tommy.
They're perfect. I love them so much. So
I can't enjoy the name Jet ever since Avatar: The Last Airbender. Anybody named Jet, I'm like, that's a bad guy.
He has a redemption. Come on.
Yeah, still a bad guy.
And I love the relationship they have with Peter or Pietro in the show. And it's like, just, you know, it's just wonderful that they have this relationship. And I really love this one moment when, it happens a little bit later when Wanda shows up in her costume and she's like, how do I look? And Tommy's like, oh, you look great, or you look cool, Mom. And Peter's like, you look lame. She's like, oh, lame, yeah. Like that was just so perfect. And also, I felt like he really, in this show, because of all the Malcolm in the Middle parallels, represented the older brother Francis, who, whenever he showed up, in the house with the four brothers, he kind of like changed the dynamic of the family because he was typically at like military school.
Yeah.
And so whenever he was actually in the house, it changed the whole thing. And yeah, it was like Uncle Jesse mixed with Francis from Malcolm in the Middle.
Absolutely. Yeah. And real Uncle Jesse vibes, the way he talked.
Yeah.
Just, he had that like New Jersey twang. He was always he just was so irreverent. He had no reverence for anything, and he wouldn't put up with any bullshit whatsoever.
Exactly, yeah. And then, we get to see the costuming, and I love Vision's costume and the whole, like, moment of, like, well, all of my costumes all my clothing has disappeared. You're incorrigible. Like, it's a positive thing. Like, he loves her.
Yes.
He's just, like, in a very tough situation.
Yes. He is the most amazing Mexican wrestler ever.
Oh my god, I love that, like...
Yeah, and I love when he leans over and he's like, and he's all sexy talking, he says, chili con carne, which has to be an ad-lib line again, because it's just so irreverent from Vision to Wanda, and she gets that ooh look.
Yeah. Oh, you're jumping ahead of my slides here, but I did want to point out how proud Wanda looks in this moment when Pietro's like, and she's like, look at her in the background. It's so cute. She's so cute.
She's so proud of that costume.
She's so proud of that costume, and it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, can you read my fortune for me, my Sokovia fortune teller?
Oh my god. I was like, how are they covering these up? This is amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it was so well done. So well done. And then we get a flashback, which, have we had one of those yet?
I mean, except for two... No, we haven't.
It was weird, but I really liked it. And the old lady was just delightful as she pulls out a herring.
She's like, to share? Yeah, she looks like she's a ladybug and there's a pirate, maybe? A ladybug and a pirate, or a bug and a pirate, a beetle and a pirate. They're so cute.
Yeah, they are adorable. And that's what led Marie Claire to her delightful pun.
Fish for treats. No fish, no trick or treat. No trick. Just fish for treat. Yeah.
Next year for Halloween?
Next year for Halloween.
You give out tins of anchovies?
No.
Oh my god, our house would be avoided.
Yeah, exactly. I love the chemistry of Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany in the scene, and like how they were like they're still super horny.
Yes.
Like,
they're still super in love with each other.
Super in love with each
like
other.
being in each other's presence.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so I love them so much. And just like a side thank you. Like cheers.
Was he a pirate or was he Nick Fury? That's what people are saying.
Yeah, he might have been Nick Fury, but I mean they kind of.
Oh right, because we shotgunned some sprites.
Yeah, shotgun some sprites.
Chin chin.
And I saw this image capture on Twitter all over the place with women and people just super horny.
Really?
Like they're like, look at his arms, and they're like, I am looking. Like,
okay.
So I just said arms because like people were like obsessed with his arms on Twitter. And I agree. I'm looking too.
I hardly even noticed that moment other than the fact that they're all doing what Uncle Pietro does.
Oh, I know, it's super cute.
They're all doing it.
Yep. Oops.
Apparently, things got a little too horny.
I know, I had to step away for a moment. Okay, but then I loved, like, the, play between the three of them, and, like, the moment, it was really, really good.
It was so good.
And then, Wanda be good. That was,
That is a through line. He said that many times.
Yeah.
To her. Wanda, be good.
Yeah, exactly.
The look on her face.
Yeah.
So, I hope she gets nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah.
Because really deserving work here. Just episode after episode, I am constantly engaged and enthralled with what she does on screen.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I don't really... No, I don't... I think that this is the start of, like, of course it's the start of the separation, but it's also him saying, like, it's also him recognizing that at least she's partially responsible for this. I really hope that they have some sort of, my cape keeps on falling.
It's okay, I'm here for you.
Yeah. I really hope that they have some sort of reckoning in the last few episodes, and I think that that's what's going to happen, where they come on the same page with each other. I think that that's just, so important.
They started together. They're going to end together.
Yeah, I think
it's called WandaVision for a reason, to quote our son.
To quote our son, yes. You don't need to worry. My son is invested.
Exactly.
He is so invested in the twins. He told me he is both twins. And I said, okay, boy. Good job.
Yeah.
No, he loves Billy because he's the responsible one, but he recognizes that he is the Tommy.
Exactly. All right, let's move on.
All right. And then back to the costume change.
Yes, I'm here.
You don't have the costume, but you do. And so he's wearing his lovely jorts.
I will point out he is wearing jean shorts because in the comics, he seems to wear. Oh wow, my cards! That's a perfect time for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull them up big.
That's great. These are my cards because in the late '80s, early '90s, I got enthused with X-Men comic books and the first ever. Like I collected hockey cards all through the '80s, and then suddenly in the '90s, the one in the middle is the 1990 collection of the Marvel. X-Men Marvel Universe comic books cards, and those came out, and I had to have them all. So I would go to this little trading store that was in my small town of Okotoks near Calgary, and I would collect all of the cards. I don't have the holograms, but I have every single one of them. And then in '91, the next set came out, which is the yellow colored ones. And then in '92, the next set came out, which is the kind of bluish ones, and then 93 and 94. And I collected these throughout junior high into high school and absolutely was enthralled. And these are all of those cards. And I have no idea why, but Pietro seems to only be able to run from left to right.
In the cards.
In the cards. Vision was entirely yellowish white back then during that era. And of course, Wanda is everything you would expect her to be now as she was dressed back then. Her costume has changed so little over the years.
Yeah.
But what's important to note is that Quicksilver is in X Factor in this time, and Wanda is with the West Coast Avengers.
Oh, interesting.
So they've split the twins up, and they're in two different groups. But in 1990, the only card of them is when they're the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with their dad, and it's one of my favorite cards right there.
Well, I'm gonna go back to the costume, but you can see the jorts, the jean shorts are like on brand for his costuming.
They're a 90s riff of the black Speedo that
Kinda
he wears
underwear,
with his blue Lycra costume.
Yeah, exactly.
Every detail there, the white gloves.
Yeah.
He's even wearing white Converse sneakers
Yeah.
to match his white shoes that he has in the carts.
Yeah, it was perfect, and I absolutely love.
I wish I could have gotten my hair to
stand up like that. Yeah, we tried.
Done more work.
We tried.
I wonder if it's a wig.
I mean, there's a lot of wigs in this show, so maybe. But I also love that Tommy's hair is matching, and they also have the like fingerless gloves as well.
And styled up together.
Yeah, it's really perfect. And then we cut to outside of the hex.
Yes, it's finally time. Let's get out of sitcom land and back into the real drama. But I mean, like, it's time. Like, this episode has gone quite some time.
Yeah.
With just sitcom land and establishing shots and getting real dialogue of the kids talking and then introducing more of Pietro, who we just got a glimpse of last episode. But he's still the who's the popsicle sort of friend, brother, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, what I noticed this time was it was full screen for the show, and then the aspect ratio changed to like a movie or cinematic aspect ratio for outside of the hex, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, they went from the big full screen down to letterbox.
Yeah,
it was interesting to see.
It was interesting. So it's almost like, oh, we're in the MCU now. I see. Okay, yeah, that was really cool. And then it's, you know, the barrier is angry and red, but it's still blue on the inside.
Blue on the inside, red on the outside.
That's interesting.
Whose powers are blue? We'll get there.
Oh, you have a thing?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Cool. And we have...
trio!
Yeah, 3 best friends forever.
Which one of you is the sassy best friend? And then who speaks next?
All of them!
No, who speaks next after they say which one of you is the sassy best friend? It's Jimmy Woo!
I know, right? But actually, in some ways, it's all of them because they all kind of take shots at Hayward, who continues to be the worst.
He's shaping up to be the real big bad, isn't he?
I think he might actually have contributed to the badness.
I think he's covering up his own F up.
No, I think so too. Yeah. I mean, we're getting that, like, we'll get to that. We have the evidence, but oh my god, I love them together. They're so cute and they're amazing, and I just love them. I called them sassy best friends with a heart, because they're all sassy best friends, and I love them so much. But when you think about it, so this scene starts, and it's the drone is being carried into the building, so it's like immediately or like less than like 15 minutes after, and they're already well underway into the episode. So outside almost feels like real time.
Well, sitcom time is different from real time.
Oh, I know. It's really, really interesting. I'm really in love with how they're doing this and with it. So
I agree.
Hayward is the worst.
He really is. He plays up, and kudos to the actor again. I hate him so much.
Yeah.
I hate him because he's incompetent, and I hate him because he doesn't have good motivations. Like, wow. Usually you hate someone for either of them, but not for both.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he's the worst, and he always tries to push emotionally back on.
What a dick thing to say.
No,
like
no,
he
no,
does,
no.
right?
Like, he's like, well, it's a good thing that you weren't around when your mother died because you don't have the stomach for this business. It's like,
how are those two things related?
I mean, no. It's written in such a wonderful way because that's what realism, like realistically, people do that when they're super insecure and they're not able to deal with their own incompetence. They push back and are like, well, you can't handle this either. Ha ha. So there. So truthfully, like Monica is so competent and so wonderful and we just love her so much. If you're not,
I wish we could fix these, but we cannot.
Yeah.
There's no one reviewing your comments. So if you say terrible things that are hilarious,
unfortunately,
we can't pull them up.
My filters
three
are.
times today.
Yeah, we have a lot of swearing in in blue.
No. Somebody said somebody was horny, and this person just said that Hayward is a dick, and then that's not even.
Yeah, we can't. I
we would
just have an
approve
auto
that
comment
if we could.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, just the auto filters are up. So.
But
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, somebody in the chat, Kaz, mentioned how Darcy in the first two Thor movies is a really annoying character, and in this show she's just delightful. I think if you go back and watch them, I too found her the same way. I found her quite annoying, and because she's kind of a riff to Natalie Portman's character, right? She's there to be funny and be in the moment and kind of be the friend who's kind of sassy, and that can be annoying. But in rewatch, I enjoyed her more.
Yeah, she's actually very identifiable with many women.
Absolutely.
I found. I mean, you look at the Darcy tag on AO3. She's got 20,000 tags, so it's not like she's a unloved character. But
she's like, what is going on?
Yeah, she's a very loved character, especially by women because women identify with her. But in general, like Monica Rambeau is right and Hayward is always wrong. So there we go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the less we can say about Hayward, the better.
This was your slide.
It is my slide!
I added some things.
I literally was like, what isn't Jimmy Woo good at? Because literally, he takes out two of these guys, just bam, 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 and they're done. And then later on the episode, they're like, how do we get a car? I can hotwire a car. I'm good at that. What aren't you? Like, he just talks so funny that I was like, you wouldn't think he'd be good at these things, but he's a quantifiable. And the only reason they're not missing him at Quantico is because the softball season is done. How good is he at softball? Like, that he'd be missed if he's like, no, softball season's there. I can't come because I gotta go hit. Like, he continues to turn into the most dynamic and interesting and rounded character. I am constantly excited to see what he's bringing to the camera every single week. Like, this is the magic.
I did love his sassy but by the book retorts because they were like very by the book. It's like there's no time to diminish your colleagues. Like, oh my God! Like
this isn't
beautiful.
The time to diminish your colleagues. There's a major situation happening.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Like,
and then he has well exceeded his provisional authority, like slam dunk on the like you're an acting director. I love Jimmy Woo.
Yeah.
So like this show has made me love Jimmy Woo so much.
Yeah.
And he's good at card tricks now too. Like and it seems like he picks these things up. He's like, I'm not good at that. I see you're good at that. I'm going to go and practice that because I want to learn that. Yeah. I love it so much.
I really want him to be like, I want a Jimmy Woo-centric show now because I just love him so much. His tiny little one-liners should be built into a whole show.
Yes, he's perfect and a really amazing add to the MCU.
And there was no stunt double there. He took those guys down. It was really cool.
So let's just talk about
and then
Tommy's. We're back into the hex. Tommy's POV. He only really talks to the audience once, and it's full of bravado. Like, who's gonna win this trick or treat competition? I'm gonna get all the candy. That's it.
Why is this a competition? Can't we both get candy? Nope.
Yeah.
It kind of talks for losers.
Hey, and Billy's thing looks more like a poncho in this.
It does, but it's still a cape.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Still a cape.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Exactly.
not a poncho.
Hashtag not a poncho. And then I want to point out this beautiful, beautiful moment.
I also want to point out how hard you have to work out to look good in that outfit.
I know.
Like, that is hard. Not Pietro people.
Oh, you mean Elizabeth Olsen?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
How hard you have to work out and to maintain to be good in that level of lycra and spandex. Like,
Yeah,
that's hard.
I'm not wearing lycra and spandex today. I made the head thing, and then I'm just wearing a shirt. But yes. Unleash Hell, Demon Spawn!
Wow, that isn't a straight, like, haha, we want you to think this is Mephisto.
Yeah, I still don't think that that's what's going on.
But that is the comics, right? Like,
yeah, that is
they're
the
infused
comics.
with Mephisto's bits of soul, and that's straight out of that. So
Yeah, so, who knows?
Oh, man.
They're definitely... What this show really does, and what we've seen over the last many episodes, is they're going like, hey, do you think it's this? Hey, do you think it's this?
Yeah.
It's just so perfect that they're like, they put these things out there. I did like the look back to Wanda, which, well, like what? Like, so, Pietro continues to bring joy, but, hey, they're putting it out there. Demon Spawn, maybe Mephisto.
Yep.
But they've also put out Hydra and
aim
and sword.
Tons of other things. They're just throwing stuff at the screen, seeing what sticks. But also, they want to show, hey, we know what you're talking about. We know what is at the history of this show, and we want to nod and poke at it.
Yeah.
And also, it's not hard to call kids who are heading out to race around and get as much candy as they can Demon Spawn. That makes perfect sense.
It's so perfect, and it's like it's almost like poking the comic. Like fans, like, haha, we see you, but do you really know what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now we get, because the kids have gone off to do their thing, we get bro and sis conversation.
Oh, yeah. So, like, what's his deal? He knows a lot of things. He does look different. I love that he referred to what's going on, the Hex, as Shangri-La. Shangri-La, of course, being this mythical location where, it's like a paradise that is separated from the rest of the world and is kept to be a paradise, and it is a paradise for Wanda, certainly.
A place of peace.
A place of peace.
And contentment.
Yeah. And then makes a lot of statements about what is happening and is meta-aware of his own state, which is different from everybody else. And later on, I'll get into the question that he asked. But he only asked
one question. And I read two articles that says that he sure asked a lot of questions in this episode.
No, he just made a lot of statements.
He made a lot of statements. He knew what was going on. And oh my God, the things he said about it. He's like, I'm really proud of you, sis. Like,
I get
all of
slides
this stuff
later.
you go and go. Oh, you do? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
No. It's okay.
We'll wait for slides.
But I did want to talk about, so just before the kids, Tommy realizes, like, oh, hey, Tommy and Billy want to go and do trick-or-treating, and Peter is like, okay, we're going to go, and I'm going to take you, and we're going to have fun. And Tommy's like, kick ass! And Wanda's like, kick ass?
Yeah. Which is, like, on one side, because this show has so many levels going on.
Yeah.
On the one level of that, it's just like, that's a new slang word I haven't heard before, because only 5 episodes we were in the 50s. And at the same time, it's a direct tie-in to the fact that both Aaron Taylor Johnson and Evan Peters were both, I did that from memory, were both in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's funny because they play these alternative characters to each other. Well, Todd, who is Evan Peters, is like the mocking version of Kick-Ass. So, Aaron, of course, plays Kick-Ass, and Todd and Kick-Ass 2 takes on the persona of Ass Kicker. And so I just wanted to show that, like, this show is not only meta-aware of the MCU, but it is also meta-aware of these actors who played alternative versions of the same character in these alternative universes, and also of this moment in Kick-Ass when they're literally in opposite costumes from each other with Ass Kicker and Kick-Ass.
So funny, hey?
Like, it's just...
Wow.
The writing in this show is just exceptional. I'm blown away every episode, and I end up making more slides because, like, this deserves its own slide to say, wow, what an homage. Amazing. And it's just like a
You know what that slide was?
moment.
It was Kick-Ass.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Kick-Ass is a fun show. It's about, kind of a...
And again, it's another thing that's only like 20 seconds long at most in the entire episode, and unless you're paying extremely close attention and watching the episode 4 times, you don't catch it.
Yeah.
So it's another thing where it's like, it stands to reason that it's another coffee, a water cooler conversation.
Didn't you notice the Kick-Ass
Kick-Ass
moment?
reference, and they're like, what? And they go back and watch it, and there it is.
Yeah, exactly. I love the repetitive humor with Herb, where it's like it's like, 1 second, Wanda. It's like, all this candy has been stolen, and then we see all that happen.
He's also Frankenstein's monster, which means he's being controlled, right? He is altered. He is not what he is made to be.
Oh yeah.
So really stellar choice for costuming for Herb when you get him to decide. And then of course he's like, would you like us to change that for you, Wanda?
Oh, I have a slide. Sorry, you're ahead of me. But I did love the repetitive humor with, hey, all the candy has been stolen, all the pumpkins have been destroyed, and everybody's covered in silly string. And then when he turns around, he's covered in silly string too, which was.
Oh, was he covered in silly string?
Yes, on his back.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, on his back.
I hadn't even noticed that. I loved how they reported it, and then it happened. Because it was happening down the street.
Yeah, exactly.
So
okay, so this is the moment that you wanted me to bring up.
Oh, I had no idea. You didn't show me your slides. So this
sorry.
is what it is, and Vision isn't on duty. Oh, I thought that he was, but maybe we could do something for you, Wanda. And
is there anything I can do for you, Wanda? Is there something you want changed? Whoa.
Yeah.
It's starting to get creepy and weird.
Well,
and
it is still creepy and weird every time this is mentioned.
No, I mean they keep it to a minimum because it's just these like all out calm moments, and it is like talked about later through Agnes's experience. But there's actually a really solid parallel to the Twilight Zone episode. It's a Good Life, where essentially it's around this small community where suddenly it disappears from the map, and actually the Twilight guy is talking about it in the episode. I quickly watched the episode last night to understand, but essentially Anthony Fremont, he's referred to as a monster because he can hear everybody's thoughts and make anything happen that he wants. And so it's exactly like that. And how the adults treat Anthony is like, is there something I can do for you, Anthony? Or should I not do that, Anthony? Do you want something different, Anthony? It's exactly like that. It's pitch perfect with that moment with Herb, how they treat Wanda.
Wow.
It's scarier in the Twilight Zone episode because you can't control what a child will necessarily like and what is unreasonable for a child to like. Wanda's going to be pretty reasonable to most humans because she's an adult, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of connection to that with other media that have had children who are capable of changing people's emotions or mental states.
And having the control and not necessarily like on the Twilight Zone episode, his moral compass is, are you doing bad things or are you thinking bad things about me? And so I will change you. And he turns one of the adults into a Jack-in-the-Box that basically asks people to kill Anthony. Yeah, it's a very creepy episode.
I'm glad I didn't watch that with you.
Yeah, it was good. Let's talk about Vision's mission.
I really thought, I looked really long and hard at this actress because I thought that was Jack Schaefer.
He looks exactly like her.
Nah, not really.
Well,
but they're
from a
both,
distance.
They're both very white women with black hair, and that's pretty much the only common similarity. But I really think it could have been easily Jack Schaefer, but no, it's just her name is Vanessa Hedgel or something like that, and she's a suburban woman in this episode.
And the tear is so heartbreaking.
So you know what they did for that?
How?
That is a black light that's shone upon the tear as it comes down, so it creates that glisten.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's cool.
They shine a black light on her face so that nothing else is glowed in that point, but it reveals the tear as it pours.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. And I just, it was heartbreaking, and it, like, because we'd seen this shot in the trailer a bunch of times.
I thought he was walking with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, this was a good misdirect from the trailer, and then like how weird the moment it was. We knew that the moment was going to be weird, but then they managed to keep the emotional impact of that moment with the woman and the tear until we actually saw it, and it was just so.
Yeah, and
wow.
It was somebody made a comment about it was like a video game NPC loop. It really felt like you're on the edges of a video game where they put less interest and less design, and there's less graphic control in this part of it because it's all taken up in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And then we cut to...
Oh, I also wanted to say it's important that Vision go off on his own because it further helps confirm Hayward as a bad guy.
Yes, that's also
true. If we didn't
true.
get Vision on his own, we wouldn't get this.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's time for commercial.
The commercial break. Yo Magic.
Oh
I'm gonna drink.
God.
I'm gonna drink my Yo Magic while we're doing this.
That makes perfect sense.
So to me, the shark is shifty as hell because he's like, I was once hungry, and then I started to snack on Yo Magic. And the little boy has red hair and the red shirt, and to me looks a lot like Wanda. And then, okay, so I'm just gonna quickly jump back. Red, yellow, green. Red, yellow, green is the color of the strawberry.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's a jump.
That's a big
but
jump.
This episode in general is pointing out that red, yellow, green is Vision.
Okay.
And
Vision is the strawberry.
Vision is the strawberry, and she's unable to open the strawberry and ends up dying. Or he is unable to open the strawberry, Yo Magic, and ends up dying. What is going on?
Wow. That was a lot of...
I'm jumping.
That's a lot. You totally jumped the shark.
I'm wearing my Wanda crown. I'm allowed to jump all over the hell I want.
No. Like, it's telling us the shark is giving him Yo Magic because the sharks are historically bad guys, and so he's a predator. He is definitely not to be trusted.
Yeah.
Especially sharks that ride surfboards. That's really key. Also, it's really funny that it's a shark riding a surfboard because the jump the shark reference is where Fonz jumps the shark on a surfboard.
No, he was jet skiing, or he was like being
surfboard.
No, I thought he was like being pulled behind a boat and he jumps the
shark.
shark.
No, sure, it's a similar sort of thing. Yeah. And in this instance here, I think the important thing is that he can't open it.
Yeah, he can't open it because he's being held back from Yo Magic.
Yeah.
Because the shark is eating Yo Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why an island?
I don't think he's being held back, but he doesn't have the strength any longer to open it.
Yeah.
To get the magic out.
Also, the shark is eating Yo Magic.
True.
Yeah, but it's for survivors.
Did we get the bottom line? The last line of the what is the tagline of Yo Magic was the most important part of it. I can't
Yo Magic,
read it in
the
this
snack
slide.
for survivors.
The snack for survivors.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna get creepy. I can't wait to see what future commercials are gonna look like because
it's got a creeper.
That was the least referential I found.
Yeah,
of all the other ones, you knew this is talking about Hydra. This is talking about the Shield.
Deeply psychological.
This is talking about Legos. This is talking about magic.
Yeah.
But Wanda doesn't have magic.
Yo Magic.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Even though she's called the Scarlet Witch and this is all a hex, she's been beaten over us for the last few episodes. And this episode's not as many six-sided objects.
No.
they've really moved away from that imagery now that they've revealed the hex to us.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the theater, which of course is behind us as well.
Yay!
The Incredibles and The Parent Trap, which
did not come out in the same year.
No, but is important from a referential perspective because it's Superhero Family, which is also owned by Disney, and
now it is, but at the time it wasn't.
And The Parent Trap, which is also owned by Disney, which is about twins trying to bring their parents back together, which is exactly what this episode is all about.
Which movie did you like more, Parent Trap or Incredibles?
I think Incredibles is probably a better movie, but I was super obsessed with the original Parent Trap in the 80s.
Yeah, I was 20 when The Parent Trap came out.
With Lindsay Lohan?
With Lindsay Lohan. And I honestly thought they'd hired 2 actresses to be that. I was like, why did they do that? Why make that extra work for yourself? You could just hire twins. But I liked The Parent Trap more than
Incredibles?
The Incredibles. Yeah.
How controversial on Maine. Wow. No, I mean, they're both really solid movies.
Yep.
Like,
and Disney owns both of them.
Because I watched the original Parent Trap, like with the 2 little blonde girls that, I don't know. It was really old. It was really old, but, I mean, of course, Incredibles is incredible and, is the pitch perfect family superhero movie, of course. And
that was my screenshot.
Like, yes, that was your screenshot. Yeah. That's what they're doing, though. I think that's really important to keep in mind, is that this isn't some sort of grimdark show, although there are horror elements. Like, people are expected to sit down with their families and watch this show.
It is so neat to see that The Incredibles, Pixar, exists in the MCU.
Yeah, I like that, too. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's talk about the meta conversation.
It's another conversation between brother and sister.
I know. Okay, I'm just trying to do my part, okay? Come to town unexpectedly, create tension with the brother-in-law, stir up some trouble with the Rugrats, and ultimately give you grief. I mean, that is what you wanted, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
What are you doing to me, Peter? I love when shows are super meta, and like him coming in right off the bat and being not only aware of what everything is going on, but also just like I'm playing the game. Isn't that what you wanted? And like calling her out with, maybe this isn't exactly what you wanted. To me, this is reflecting some of the shadow self that she hasn't necessarily worked through, and also like what she thinks she needs is not necessarily what she needs, and having him reflect that back to her like a twin would is just like perfect writing.
Yeah, but yet not be the twin.
Yeah.
There's so many. There's the dynamic that's being played with there.
It's the Funhouse mirror version of her twin.
And again, a couple of people commented in articles I read. They said, well, based on the fact that he has memories that are maybe more tied to Aaron Taylor Johnson, means that they're probably not tying together the X universe with the MCU. And I was like, what? How could they not? They went out and bought Fox just for this purpose so that they have those characters to own them again. And why would you bring back Evan Peters if you were not going to make a direct tie to those movies and to those characters?
It's so weird, but like, it's vague enough. What he says is, and I got shot in, like a chump in the street.
On the street.
On the street.
For no reason at all.
For no reason at all. Which is not what Aaron's Quicksilver
what they said was like, how did he get shot by normal bullets? He has super speed. Why didn't he reach out and pluck them out of the air the same way Evan Peters' character would have?
Yes, exactly. But
like, how do you die from normal bullets when your superpower is moving fast?
It's because he didn't see it coming, right? Like that's always, like he didn't see it coming. He wasn't,
Nobody on the screen watched me get riddled with bullets there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's too bad.
But to me, this is vague enough. And when they flash to his dead corpse-like body later, I looked at where he was shot, and it's in different locations.
Is it? It was the same spot.
It is in different locations.
Show me the slide.
I didn't take a screenshot of it, but I did want to call it out because I was like, I'm already at too many slides. But you can go and watch it yourself. I went and went back. It's in different locations.
Yeah,
and to me, this is vague enough that it could be Fox or MCU or a combo. What he says is super vague and actually doesn't. He died to protect Hawkeye and a little child. That isn't being a chump.
Exactly.
So to me, it's like super vague enough to say,
yeah,
you know, maybe he died in the Fox world and she brought him back here.
Yeah, but it's also very clearly, easily stated that, like, what a stupid decision to have him shot by bullets.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, his superpower is speed.
Is not getting shot by bullets.
He got shot by bullets? That makes no sense. Like, he should have been able to easily pluck them from the air.
Exactly, yeah. And then...
Wait, hold on. I was like, oh.
And then we get the discovery of Tommy's superpowers and the most mom moment in existence, which is like, you have to take your little brother, or you have to take your brother with you when you go past the sound barrier.
And the brother was like, yes! And the other brother was like,
no!
Yes?
Oh, really?
I'll take him.
Yeah, and I love
He's annoying
that they're...
and responsible, like Dad.
You got that Maximoff genes, yeah! Like, it's so perfect. He was just... it was a great reveal for Tommy's superpowers and very Tommy.
Absolutely.
In the orientation of what ends up happening. And then, perfect. I'm just going to call back to this slide later, so I just wanted to show it. Don't go past Ellis Avenue.
Once again, Ellis is brought up. This is not the first time that Ellis has been mentioned in the MCU. We got President Ellis in the MCU Iron Man 3 movie. And that was a direct reference to Warren Ellis, who, you know, less can be said about the better, considering how he abused power in regards to relationships with women over the last year, has coming out. So I'll talk about that less, but that individual wrote a lot of the blowing up people stuff that was used in the MCU's Iron Man 3. I think that this might be a similar reference to that individual because he also wrote a version of the MCU that had everything changed. Like, everything changed. The Thing didn't get on the ship and go and pilot the flight. Dr. Doom did instead, and they all died. And basically wrote a version of the world where all these people, like, Peter got bit by a radioactive spider and basically turned into a mutation and died. And Bruce Banner got infected with gamma radiation and grew green and like a bunch of boils and whatnot, but never became the Hulk. And basically said, like, more real world implications of it. And Wanda was one of those characters in there, and she kind of turned her back on everything. And there is some reference that can be played to WandaVision in that reference. But anyway, the less said, the better. But don't go past Ellis Avenue. I want to talk about the other road that they're on. Oh. That's just, we'll get to that when we get there.
Okay. So, outside of the Hex, we're back with our trio, and they, Hayward is hunting vibranium.
Hunts vibranium?
So that's what he cares about.
He's tracking the vibranium, yeah, because he's found a way to get in there, and he's tracking Vision.
He's tracking Vision.
Which ties directly into our previous episode, where he finally got permission to go and show them the scene of Wanda taking Vision, and we know the person he's after in here, the person he cares about, the person that's important to him
is Vision.
Yeah. He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care about the people in the town. He doesn't care about Wanda. He cares about Vision.
Yeah, and it's such a good tie back and forth between the outside world and the inside world, because now we have this tie-in to say, like, oh, here's Vision on the map, and then, like, we see him walk up to this cul-de-sac and look and try and talk to these people, and it's like, man, are these your children? And then the transformation, and I can see that.
Great special effect.
Oh my god, they've used, like, the special effects they've started to use as we get forward in time. I can definitely see where the budget is going with this show. But then he looks over the city, and he's up high, and, like, very, like, trying to see where people are, hear where people are, and it's just, like, an amazing, yeah, I love Vision so much. He's such an empathetic and caring robot. Synthezoid, sorry. He is a anoid. Humanoid, a synthezoid. He is an oid. He is he's very empathetic and he just wants to help people and he's full of heart.
Yeah.
And then he walks up to...
I love this scene.
Okay,
this is the
let's
most
talk about
important
it.
and favorite scene in the whole show. Because it is Agnes, and she gets to cackle like a witch.
Yeah.
So that's right up there for me, because she's very witchy. And
Before we go into the scene, do you want to point out the Easter egg?
Right, so the first thing we see, and it's the only reference to the hexes that we've gotten the entire time, and that is her license plate, is 0A1B2C.
Yeah.
And that is hex code for the color black pearl, which I think is directly related to... Agnes itself. It's a very black, shiny color
It's
of
probably
black.
the color that she is in the comics. She wears the kind of this black or blue, gray color in the comics. And I mean, that would be a shout out to that, which is amazing.
Absolutely. And there she is trying to leave or go to the town square. She's a bit confused. I felt like she's trying to leave. Like she's like, screw it, I'm finally going to get out of here. Enough distractions going on. There's kids everywhere suddenly.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. And now she's trying to find town square. And Paul Bettany's perfect again with his little chuckle. He adds to the the town square scare is at town square.
Yeah, like trying to alleviate the stress. Although he realizes he's no longer dressed as like, human vision. He doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. He doesn't care because he knows that she's a program. She's being manipulated. And he fixes her, and then she tells him he's dead, which is hard to hear at the best of times.
Yeah.
But, there's so many things going on there, but two things are very clear in what Agnes says. One, she says no one's allowed to leave.
Yeah.
Wanda won't even let us think about it. And those are two separate logical statements. She is not saying that Wanda is not allowing anyone to leave. She's saying we're not allowed to leave.
Quote. Period?
Period.
Yeah.
Wanda won't even let us think about it.
Yeah.
Which is saying like Wanda is an overlay of a problem that is already happening in the show.
Yeah, and thematically we see that multiple times with, hey, I didn't start this, or I don't know how this started, but I'm now in control of it. Yeah. When we talk about the barrier being blue on the inside, red on the outside, it's like, to me, I think that Agnes is not necessarily a bad person. I think she is stuck in this, and is just trying to help in the way that she can. But I do think that there is two things going on. We're not allowed to think about certain things. We're not allowed to do certain things. And then Wanda is trying to prevent us from doing those things that might harm us. Like, leaving is bad for people, I think. But not necessarily Wanda causing people not to leave. I think that Wanda could potentially let people leave.
Yeah. Once again, not knowing their underlying motivation,
yeah,
and giving us snippets that we can interpret in our own way.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of different ways you can interpret this. The fact that I said that those are two separate statements and therefore they're logically not necessarily connected to each other, I mean, you could look at it and say they were said right back to back. Obviously, these two things are connected. That's fine. And that's what's great about that water cooler chat that you get to have, where you can say like this and I can say that, and until it's proven otherwise, it's just conjecture on both our parts.
Yeah, it's really, really smart writing to say, hey, we're going to keep the mystery until the end. And again, we're not at the climax of the show where things will be revealed. I think that, you know, all of the pieces are in place to have it revealed and be like, oh, that was so smart.
That's the hope.
You know, but I don't necessarily think it's one way or another. I think it's meant to cause us to question everything. And then here's the don't go past Ellis Avenue.
There it is. My other slide that I made. I'm so proud of myself.
I know, you helped out.
Okay, so what's important to this is the stop sign. Vision even tells us this is important because he turns and looks at it. Not only because the show is literally telling you stop. Don't go.
Yeah.
This, and he can. No, I'll continue. And they've said don't go past Ellis Avenue once in this episode to the kids, and they're like don't go past. Like they said it together.
Yeah.
So this is important. Ellis Avenue is the end of all things. Do not go past it. But it's important. I'm going to go down a little rabbit hole, and I normally don't do this.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm all. Do you want to be on screen for this rant?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, because what I'm pointing out there is Rolling Hill Road.
Okay.
Or Rolling Hill Drive. I can't remember what it is anymore because it's too small now for me. But Rolling Hill, there's only one reference to Rolling Hill at all in the MCU. And there was a combo Spider-Man Deadpool miniseries crossover event that happened that involved the Master Matrix, which was an LMD. And it was an LMD that was able to control...
Life model decoy.
Yeah, able to control other LMDs. And it was like he became basically a superhero because he's able to stop the other LMDs from doing stuff. And this was all related to Rolling Hills, New York, which was the location of Area 14 in the Marvel 616 universe. So Rolling Hill is a place where people were controlled by another individual, and it was protected and blocked and barricaded in by S.H.I.E.L.D.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah, so it's either a really deep dive,
cut reference,
because it's hard to pick that out. And it's Spider-Man, Deadpool, none of that stuff's related to this at all.
It's just more like the control,
but that control
and
element. And, you bring in the Twilight Zone episode, and you tie in certain things the way people are talking. It's just showing the depth and the foundation of which these writers and this writer group had in creating this show. Is like, if they're gonna make a reference to something, if they're going to put a street sign in there, or they're going to put a road sign in there, or they're going to put a tombstone in there, then each one of those things and the words on it can't just be random stuff. Let's put something that's relevant and important in there so that we give the audience something to conjecture about or something to grasp onto.
People are very impressed in the chat.
Cool.
Good job.
DA12BC is red, but it's 0A.
Yeah, we checked.
B2C. It's Black Pearl.
We zoomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very clear on our screenshots, but yeah, we checked. And I had a bigger screenshot at one point, but... Okay. The boundary is giving people superpowers. And I wanted to point out, like, this is from the wiki for Photon's powers. And just to call back to last episode and... where Monica, who in the comics ends up being the character Photon, she ends up talking about all of the things that the barrier is made up of and how she needs to build a way for her to get in, and then she talks to Darcy about whether that would work. So the boundary is giving people superpowers, probably, because her blood work has changed. It is changing her on a molecular level, and all of the things that are the powers that Photon has are all of the things that she said she needed to protect herself have a way to protect herself from the barrier.
Yeah.
Because that is all of the stuff that is happening. And so these are all the things that Photon can eventually control, and I just wanted to shout out that, like, this is all building on itself, and it's beautiful. Shout out to the fact that she's going to be a superhero, and I love her already, so.
I can't wait.
Yeah. But it also makes me go, will Darcy be a superhero?
I don't know, but I really want to know we'll get there.
Yeah. I love that we're getting treated so kindly from Monica Rambeau, and it is sort of a flip from her relationship with Wanda in the comics, where they're like rivals and enemies, and that she's just like, I know what Wanda's feeling, and I won't stop until I help her. Like, Monica's storyline in this is just so satisfying, that she has solid motivations for wanting to help Wanda through her grief and help her with everything. And Monica, Darcy, and Jimmy are our actors as the audience who are empathetic and caring towards Wanda and Vision, and the kids and everything. It's just like, they are us. There are inserts in the show, and they can do things, and they can help make things better. And it's just like super wonderful that
if you think Wanda is the problem, then Wanda has to be part of your solution.
Yeah.
That people need to think about that more often, especially in politics in our world today, when or when you're parenting. If the child is being the problem, then the child has to be part of your solution. Like, it's just a really astute way of saying that these things are necessary. You have to include the person who is generating this problem or is connected to it in your solution. You can't just ignore them completely or write them off or shoot them out of the sky with a missile.
Yeah, exactly. And the empathy and the love is just so good.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Because we're already empathizing with Wanda, and we really want to continue to empathize with Wanda.
Yeah.
And so to have a character in the show who is apart from the universe, who is connected to it at one point, to be our empathetic line, super important.
Exactly. Okay. So we've already talked a little bit about what Pietro has said, and he makes a lot of statements about what's going on, and I included it in the top of the show as far as the intro goes. Like, I'm super impressed. Like, you were always the empathetic twin. Like, I'm blown away by how you've managed to do this. Like,
couples have all stayed together. Personalities are largely the same.
They got better jobs. Like, how the heck?
Jobs.
Yeah. Just like so good. And then the only thing he asks is, how did you even do this all? And she goes into like how she didn't know how it started, and then she starts to drift into the world. But it's really interesting that they are like it's whenever she kind of starts to think about like how stuff happens, that she's horrifically, malevolently pulled back to reality with, in this case, like the Halloween horror of seeing her brother dead. And if you look at the shots are in a different place than Aaron's Quicksilver. So who knows what that means?
I'll look for the slide.
Not in here.
Ah,
sorry. I was trying to keep the slides to a minimum.
I agree.
All right, but
when more than half of your writers team is made up of women, and your show creator duo principally is a woman, then your women characters are going to be well written, because
that's the gaze that it's coming from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you just got to include different types of people in your writer's room, and it can't be all just a bunch of white guys in their 30s.
Like diversity of experience and thought contributes to better storytelling? You don't say!
Yep.
Huh.
Or more comprehensive characters that are more relatable to the people they are, because they're written from people who have the perspective that they're writing.
Huh.
Go figure.
So weird.
Who would have thought?
I don't know. Sarcasm.
Yeah.
But back to this moment, and again, she looks away. So I think we're actually going to get a third instance of her seeing somebody who's dead, who is going to shock her, and she's going to continue to look and converse. I think threes are really powerful, and this has been the second moment of dead, looking into the eyes of a dead person.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about cataracts.
Oh, I'm so excited. This was one of the ones I saw in my first watch through of it, and I went to Marie Claire afterwards, and I'm like, what do you think of cataracts? And she goes, what?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
I catch things on my second watch. So.
Yeah, cataracts. So Darcy finally gets behind the third firewall, which is like super funny. Also, like, Darcy's a hacker now. I'm like,
she's super talented.
She's talented. She's capable with systems.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's actually hacking. She's just saying, like, I'm just going to get behind. I really would have wished that they had just been like, I have access to these things because they accidentally gave me access to everything, because while no one would give me coffee, they still just gave me all the stuff. Which would have been really funny and a nice callback. Anyway, so she does all her hacking, which is great, where she pulls out the USB sticks, puts it in the other one, and then she pulls up the final firewall, which reveals a program that Hayward is trying to prevent other people from seeing. And it has definite relation to Vision, because it's connected to Vision's dead body. And she pulls up and gets all these files on a program called Cataracts, which, of course, when your vision goes... as your vision ages,
cataracts it's a solidifying of your lens that obscures your vision.
Dun,
dun, dun.
Cataracts. That's pretty funny.
So is sword, the reason...
I thought it was just cataract, not cataract.
No, so if you have it in both eyes, it's cataract.
Right, but I thought the program's called cataract.
It is.
Okay.
People are used to calling it cataracts. But,
That's true.
So I was just making a stylistic choice. It is cataract.
You made a good choice.
Okay, cataracts obscure your vision. But to me, this is speculation, but I think that the reason why Vision can't remember is not because of coming to Westview, but because of whatever Sword was up to with his body.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's called cataract because he was literally clouded over. He had literally been obscured. He was dead. There's no longer any way to see through him anymore, and so therefore they were like, "Haha, it's really funny if we call this new project using Vision's body cataract." And then somebody was like, "Ho ho ho ho," and a bunch of white guys rubber stamped it. That's how I pictured the board of directors. That's how they
Sword, but not the writers' room. The writers' room were like, "There's going to be a third layer that you're never going to see," and we'll be like, "Oh my god!"
The writers' room is like, "This is such a good idea," but I could totally picture a bunch of old white guys in charge of everything being like, "Let's turn Vision into cataract," you know. Like,
Oh, it's a breakdown of Vision too.
Yep, exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I mean.
I can't wait to learn more.
We saw him all pulled apart. It's all on theme.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know. So, and then Vision goes through the barrier.
What a shot.
Oh my God!
Look at the color change.
Yeah. It's
just beautiful. How do you? Oh.
Like I can see where they're spending the money. It wasn't in the first 2 episodes with the black and white. It's now to make these shots so beautiful, to make the transformations, and especially the moment with. Later on in a moment, but like I pulled this out because we have these three kind of Hayward's like he really wants to get out because he's like in pain trying to get out, and he has like no intention of helping Vision. Help, and he's like, you just really want to get out, Hayward, and to me Hayward is sus.
He doesn't say help the people. He says help, and he says the people need help.
I know. I summarized. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a good summary, but like, wow.
I know. But first, let me get my thought out about Hayward. Okay, so Hayward's like, okay, he really wants to get out, and Vision's like, help, the people need help, and Darcy's like, no, help him! Look, he's disintegrating, and. To me, Hayward not acting is showing his guilt of whatever he did previously, and he's
you would think he would act. He is the acting director.
No, but it's showing his guilt to whatever he did before. I think we know enough based on what happened that he did something, and he is covering this up, and he wants Vision to die in whatever this ends up happening, and he's probably very surprised that he was able to stand up. And yes, the Mind Stone is present outside of the bubble, which is fascinating, and there's something that is pulling him back in, also fascinating. And Darcy's like, help him, because she is us. Yep. She is us in the show. She is representing our care and love for these characters. So thank you, writers, for being so caring.
So good. So good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then the little flap of his head.
That flutters back. Oh, God.
Like, oh, man.
So hard.
This guy's dead.
And then we get the Billy, like, premonition moment. Like, I can hear Dad.
Yep.
And they want to hurt him. And, like, they think he's going to die. Like,
we get to see his powers.
We get to see his powers, and they're blue. And he stops his brother with his powers.
Why do they have to be blue? I think they're blue from the comics, but the inside of the shell is blue, and it really messes with my brain. I'm like, is Billy the bad guy?
No.
I hope not.
No.
But like, I mean, there's only so many colors, so there's that, but
yeah,
it sure seemed to be the same color as the inside of the dome.
Yeah. Our son was like, pointing it out when we were watching it today, that, Billy's powers are like Wanda's, but blue. I think that it's really cute that he loves Billy. And then he sees it and he shares with Wanda that badness is happening. And we see the barrier start to expand. Oh
my God, really? You think?
So Darcy being in the hex, I want her to be a waitress.
That is so funny.
As a callback to Two Broke
Oh,
Girls.
she has to be, doesn't she?
Yeah, because of how meta-aware they are of these actors, and this is her other... Like, this is a shout-out to Lady V, who pinged me and was like, she's totally gonna be from Two Broke Girls, or like a waitress in a cafe or something like that.
I love it.
I just want it to happen because I think it'll be really, really cute. I do love that she swore by saying "oh fudge."
Yeah, oh fudge.
Oh fudge.
Because she went through during the fun.
Yeah. And of course, like we have like the whole power explosion, and I love that Sword gets turned into a bunch of clowns because they are a bunch of clowns.
Just a big circus.
Just a big circus. This is all just pretend. This is all just a show. And
so do you
entertainment.
think that she spent the time and she pushed the boundary out? Or did she exert her powers to like lessen her powers of control and allow the field to grow?
Ooh.
Because that's like, I'm like, if she is the one who's responsible for this entirely, she's pushing things out. But if she is containing this, then she allowed it to grow.
I don't know. It still stays as a hex, like as a hexagon.
It does.
So.
And all I know is at the end of the day, Hayward and his two people got out, and Hayward's like, darn, cannot imagine why that all happened. And the lady just, the expression, she looks at him like, you're the worst. Is her expression. You're literally the worst. On her face, in the back seat, looking at Hayward in the passenger side. You literally just lost everyone.
Yeah, Hayward, you're the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the last slide I have.
Ooh.
I know. Yep, it is. So.
What a great episode it was.
It really was.
It really opened things up. There were so many little Easter eggs, so many things to think about, so many motivations for characters that started to started to see more fruition thereof. Like Hayward's got a secret project on the side. That doesn't sound good, especially if it's called Cataract. You know, Vision and Wanda have a new dynamic to their relationship because there's this secret and a gulf that now lays between them.
Tension, and they could really easily solve it if they just talk to each other, which is always the lesson.
Exactly. Monica and Jimmy are on the outside, still with Hayward. And Monica, we didn't even talk about it, is about to go and meet her contact.
Yeah, the astrophysicist.
Who knows so much stuff.
Yeah.
The doctor. And like... And
yeah.
I was just excited there. And then we have more going on in the town. So basically, what we've done is a conclusion of the second act.
Yep.
We have developed what the problem was in the first act, and then we've taken that problem and we've twisted it. We've made that problem more complicated, and you start to wonder, can it ever be resolved? And then we lead into the third act where they start to tighten it up and tie off all those loose ends that we've developed, and we have a scant 3 episodes to get that done in, and I am overjoyed to see it happen.
Yeah, they've done a really solid job of setting everything up and having it like a solid middle act of like, it's complicated and look at all these complications and oh my god, how are they ever going to resolve, and is it Wanda, is it something else that we don't know, and how is this all going to play out? And yeah, it's you know, I am thinking of the parallels to Doctor Strange, where the big bad Dormammu was not actually introduced until kind of the last like few minutes of the show.
Yeah, you got your foreshadowing of him to begin with.
Yeah, you got the foreshadowing, but you never really got him until physically, because he is the big bad.
Yeah.
But you had his players out there, you know, doing what they wanted to do because they wanted power or they wanted control. And I feel like there's probably going to be a lot of parallels to that the whatever is the bad will reveal itself in the last, not moments of the show, but certainly the last episode or 2, to say this was what was actually going on.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what will end up happening. I personally don't think Pietro is hurt I think she was just trying to take him out of the situation because he was being annoying to her, much like you.
Oh, yeah. He said the worst thing ever.
Yeah, he was a
Why you worry about your husband? He's already died twice. Blam!
Yeah, that was awesome.
I loved it. Oh, and that led us to the other thing I was going to talk about, the Easter eggs of the episode that we didn't get to before. And that is, they've been putting names and whatnot into the show throughout. Sorry, we don't have a slide on this. But when Darcy goes to email the cataract information to Jimmy Woo, she types Jimmy, and then 3 different names come up. And 2 of those names are actually Jameses that are involved in the production of this show. So if you look them up, you'll see what roles they serve in the role. And I love that piece that comes up, because if you go looking for it, you find out who they are, and because nobody watches very few people watch the credits all the way through.
6 minutes of credits.
You don't get to see that. So then the other one that we got was when he gets blasted away because this is this terrible thing, and he goes right into
the tombstones.
Which is really funny because he's dead. You get a R.I.P. tombstone, and on the right hand side, and behind that one is a Dr. Revis, which is an anagram for virus, so not really anything there, and there's no Revis anywhere associated with this cool name. I really want to make a bad guy named Dr. Revis. And then the other one on the other side is Sammelman, Janelle Sammelman, and that's the first assistant director. So it was neat to see them putting the names of the people who are involved in the production in prominent ways in the modern day, when you can pause a high-def show and read them to say, oh yeah, there they are. These are the people that are involved in this, in the creation of this, and we want you to recognize and notice them at times. There you go.
Well, that was episode 6. Wow.
Delicious.
And it was a little weird to be like Halloween on Valentine's weekend, but here we are.
That's true.
I had so much fun thinking about this show, doing up this. This has been just so much fun just to enjoy, and I'm very happy to come along on the ride with all of you. Just a reminder, we will still be doing this, as we talked about at the top of the show. We're going to continue on with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So awesome. And make sure to like and subscribe, because we're not going anywhere. And it would be really great for you to join us for Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well, which is starting in March. Any other thoughts before we...
No, I'm really excited for where this is going to go and how this is going to conclude, and the changes it's going to wrought on the MCU going forward, because I think it's going to be very relevant and important. And because of the success of this, I cannot wait to see what more lies inside and to come, because more people are signing up for Disney Plus in order to get a chance to watch this show. It's going to just build on this incredible foundation that's already being laid by the MCU.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you everyone who joins us in chat and listens to us on replay or on the RSS podcast feed. We hope you enjoyed this, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks so much. I'm going to get out of these jorts now.
Cheers, everyone.